welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience and telling everybody a little bit about yourself and about your journey?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Kelsey. I'm an actress and comedian based here in Los Angeles.
So you are an actress and a comedian. Do you have a favorite out of the two, or do you value both equally?
I would say both equally. Yes, I would say there are lots of actors can do comedy and can do drama, and then lots of stand-up comedian also start doing TV and film. I think there's always crossroads in between as well.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I know for you being an actress, I saw that you do have a very nice IMDb. Do you have any particular experiences or projects that stand out to you and were your absolute favorite that you've been a part of?
I mean, I would say like being an actress, a lot of times you keep looking for your next gig, and then it's always like the next project that you're gonna work on. It's always the most exciting for you as well. And I also started creating my own TV and film as well, because I had several script, and I think of being a creator and actress, you're also like storytellers. You can write stories. So I have several projects I'm trying to create. That's going to be very exciting.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You have multiple projects in the works that are quite literally in the works?
Yes, we shot this half-hour comedy. It's kind of like The Office meets Silicon Valley. It's more like a mockumentary. So we're finishing the pilot. So we're trying to pitch to a streaming service. As you guys know, nowadays it's all about a streaming service. Yeah. So trying to pitch that one. Hopefully that will go well. And I also have two other. One is the action and kind of like, a little bit more like Marvel type of style, like, action films. And then the other one, we are still trying to looking for kind of like investors, shoot a little bit trailer and a pitch to studio as well. Yeah, and another one is half-hour comedy. I'm super exciting because this one is like my passion project. We had the script about, I would say 6 years ago. Like wow. I have a creative partner. We met at an improv school and we created that documentary together. And we had a script 6 years ago because it's such a huge project. And then we cannot just go ahead and shoot it. So we need to bring tons of investors and producers in, also showrunner. That's very important for TV project. I would say nowadays TV is so hard because for film, you can't just do it and send over to a film festival. If it does well and hopefully get picked up. But for TV stuff, you have to get a showrunner. So that's what I'm trying to work on that already.
I love that you're involved in different projects that have different genres as well. It's very refreshing to see other people be in this industry space, but also, you're not being confined to a box. You like something more in the realm of a Marvel tone. I love that you're going after that. I love that you're going after comedy. I love that you're doing it all. For me, myself personally, in my acting experience and my journey, I've never wanted to be put in a box. I've never wanted to be seen as just the funny girl or just the dramatic girl or just the girl who's got a secret. I've wanted to do it all. It's really nice to see somebody in this space doing it all. It really is refreshing. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's beautiful.
Of course. Yeah, I totally think, lots of actor wants to challenge themselves, like you said, right? You don't want to be defined as one certain character or typecasting, but Hollywood is very typecasting, right? So a lot of times you have to create a character you think you can play. So then studio will see you play that character.
Definitely. And then in terms of, you mentioned that you are obviously a comedian. What is that like for you? What has that journey been like? Did acting come first versus comedy? And just kind of explain the whole comedy process. I nerd out. I love comedy so much. So it's an honor to be able to speak to somebody who's in the comedy space. So go for it.
That's awesome. Yes, Hannah, that's what I'm kind of focused on doing right now because I started hosting my live comedy show. Like lots of stand-up comedians, you have to perform pretty much every single day because one of my friend, he does stand-up comedy for over 20 years. And he said, in order to get so good at what you're doing as stand-up comedian, you need to produce your own show so you can get on stage to do it every single night. So I started doing that about, I would say 6 months ago. I started doing backyard comedy show first. Had my friends had some nice mansions. I use kind of like their our pool and backyard, started hosting. It's also because it's a COVID, right? All the comedy clubs were closed, and then everything has to be outdoor. So we're doing like this backyard comedy show. And then about 2 months ago, I moved to this location. It's called Sunset Grill Hollywood. It's quite a famous spot because like, you know, that a band Eagle used to sing this song, it's Sunset Grill Hollywood. That's the spot. And then it's on Sunset Strip. And then I started hosting my own comedy show there every Tuesday and Thursday night. I have 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. shows. And I also have hosts because I'm producing the show, but for each show, I have like lots of comedians that are also hosts. And then they will work as hosts, and then we're booked like 5 to 7 comedians for each show. And it's been so great. It should blow up so fast. I was like a little bit worried when it just started. It's like, oh my gosh, I've never done this before. And how can I get so many comedians come to do the shows? And turned out the word in the comedy world is like such a tight knit word. So it's such a community. And then all the hosts start booking comedian, and then they start getting tons of messages. Lots of comedians that want to get in my show. And then lots of people also want to host my show, which is perfect because I don't like hosting. And so some comedians are really good at host. I think it's a very huge difference. People don't know, like some comedians are good at hosting. Some comedians are good doing their own sets. They may be good at their own stand-up, but they're not good at hosting.
Oh, wow. So is it rare to kind of find that crossover breed of having somebody who is equally good or equally passionate about both, would you say?
Yeah, because I would say like the host I have right now, I have like, let's see, I have like my own notebook for my shows for like all our November's, our shows all booked out. And then for December, we also booked out as well. I have almost like 6 regular hosts right now. Like I would say one host, he's really good at stand-up comedian, but he's also a great host. But I saw some hosts, they are really good at hosting. Of course, almost everyone are stand-up comedians. Everyone is stand-up comedian as well. But just some people stand out as hosts for me. Bring up the whole crowd. It's like, oh my gosh, this is an exciting show. I just did another show here in downtown as well on Saturday, downtown rooftop show. So I do that once a month.
That's so neat. It's so wonderful that you took the opportunity to create something during the pandemic that benefited you, obviously, but it benefited a lot of other people as well. You know, we can kind of relate. I decided to create my own podcast during COVID, mainly because I just wanted to keep up my chops. But what's great is that you were able to really benefit so many other people. And it's so inspiring to see other creative people become inspired despite things that are going on in the world that are obviously not inspiring. So it's really interesting to me to be able to speak with somebody like yourself who is a creative, but able to utilize even an uncertain time and still make it something so effective and beautiful. And look at what you've done. That's amazing. So you do 2 shows every week, Thursdays and Tuesdays. Is that what you said?
Yes. So basically 2 shows on Tuesday and Thursday. So I have like a 7 p.m. show and 9 p.m. show. So total is like 4 shows each week.
That's amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to come because, like I said, I love stand up. Oh my gosh, I have to come.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I have shows tomorrow night. You're invited.
Thank you. I would love to go. Thank you so much. We'll follow up after this in regards to that for sure. My final question to you, Kat, is you're an actress, you're a comedian, you produce, you write, you direct, you do so many different things. You wear so many different hats, and it's nothing short of inspiring. I also noticed that you are pursuing a little bit of a YouTube career on the side as well and creating some content over there. Can you tell us what that's like for you? What have you discovered about trying to step into the YouTube space? How do you like it? What do you foresee yourself doing in terms of, are you going to continue in that space? Talk to me about your YouTube journey.
Yeah, Hannah, it's so interesting you asked me that question because I have tons of YouTube friends that are like a huge YouTuber. I never thought I'm going to do YouTube. And during pandemic, you guys know, last year, I think lots of us kind of like just stay home and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I decided do like a YouTube during pandemic, and now I kind of like taking break from that because my comedy show takes so much time, and then but I think it's always good to have like a YouTube channel as content creator like us, and then you can even like right now I put some of my stand-up sets on my YouTube channel. Yeah, definitely. I think doing YouTube for us is like such a interesting way to express your own creative outlets as well. So like you mentioned, you do podcasts as well. It's so funny. I just had a talk with my friends earlier because there is one label reach out to me because they watched me do like stand-up comedy. They said, hey, Kat, you need to start doing a podcast show. So I had a phone call literally 10 minutes ago with another friend of mine. We're talking about doing podcasts. So I just want to say amazing. I would definitely want to check out your podcast as well, Hannah.
Oh, thank you so much. And best of luck to you. I'm hoping that you have the opportunity to create your podcast as well. It's really nice to be in a space where you're able to curate and kind of represent yourself, and you make your own brand and you stand for what you want to stand for. I've found a lot of freedom in that. And I think it's really nice to be able to step into a space where podcasts are so warmly received. So from one podcast host to a potential podcast host, best of luck. Oh my gosh, I'm wishing you all of the best. It's really fun and you're really going to enjoy it. And you're very well spoken. And I think that you'll be perfect for it. I think that label reached out to you, and I think that they are very, very smart for doing so, for sure.
Thank you, Hannah. Honestly, I'm still like trying to figure out, navigating the whole podcast, like the community. I think it's very different, but it's, like you said, it's quite interesting. Yeah.
And you know what? Stop at nothing too, because if you are interested in wearing so many different hats, and clearly you can, why not just keep stacking them and just see when it starts to tip, and then be like, okay, maybe I have enough on my plate, and then work from there. Why not? Why stay in a box at this point in life? There's no need,
Yeah, because I saw lots of stand-up comedians, they all have their own podcast show as well. So because tonight I'm performing at Haha Comedy. The comedian who's hosting the show, he's also a podcaster himself. And then I was like, wow. He said, yeah, you didn't know lots of stand-up comedians, they all have their own podcast show, because I think they talk about their own stand-up sets, like comedy stuff as well. It's quite interesting.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with us on behalf of the LA Note and behalf of Hey Han. I want to say thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to be speaking with you. And to everybody watching, stay tuned for all that's to come with Miss Kat here. She's got so many things going on for herself. I'm personally very proud of you, and I'm really honored that we had to have this conversation.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.